Good to have you. It's Monday. Some of you knew that already. June 22nd. Pardon me. I'll call you back, Tony. You should be watching my show, not calling me. This is episode 87.
Good to have you. It's Monday.
Oh, my goodness. Hang on.
Some of you knew that already.
Hang on.
June 22nd.
Hang on. Hang on. He's calling me again.
This is episode 87.
Good to have you. It's Monday. Wow,
Oh, my
this is
goodness.
really
Hang
not
on.
going
Some of you
well.
knew that
Hang
already.
on. Okay. Holy shit, this is hard. It shouldn't be this hard. I am a bit uncouth when it comes to the multi-streaming, but we are there, and thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. I missed exchanging gravy with you yesterday. It was a good exercise for me, though. It's important that I spend some time reevaluating myself, thinking about my journey, cleaning my house, things like that. Yeah. So today is a new day, and as part of our sequence for the best apocalypse ever, come on in, buddy. Come on in. Come on in. That's right. It's a fresh sugar water from last night, right out of the Alchemist boiling water can. We have a great show for you today, even though it may not seem like it. If you guys did not catch the amazing Benjamins on Saturday, please do. The stream broke at YouTube, but it stayed strong in DLive, and I took that recording and I uploaded it to my YouTube channel as just a regular video. I encourage you guys all to check that out. The amount of butthurt that Owen brought into the chat was exactly proportional to the amount of hilarious fun that it was for me to host that session. And I just want to point out that there's a sine wave curve that's happening. So all of you people that are upset about the story of David and Goliath, I just want you to know thank you. All of that upsetness just really made it that much funnier for anyone else that was trying to enjoy a beautiful conversation. Truly legendary gentlemen, the Benjamins, and I am blessed to have been among them on Saturday. I encourage you guys to definitely check out Benjamin Balderson on YouTube. You will see his links in the show notes, as well as Owen Benjamin. Unauthorized.net is the only place you're going to find him. And I would imagine that the video on Saturday will not be there for long. There was a lot of butthurt, and those butthurts are grabbling their way through the fluorescent hyena hallways right now as we speak of Silicon Valley, saying, "We must get him, we must destroy what he's doing." And I know it's happening right now, okay? If you were to subscribe to unauthorized.net, you would have unadulterated Owen, which in my opinion is probably should be in every standard first aid kit, considering what's befalling us right now. And Benjamin, of course, too. He's still on YouTube. He and I both are still popping out of this whole checking stuff out, and hence why I moved to DLive. We'll see where this goes. So, yeah. Unauthorized.tv, that's right. If I said something different, sorry about that. But yes, unauthorized.tv. Guys, we had quite a weekend. We had a Trump rally. And there's now a new thing called a trunk ninja. I am suggesting to you that you were looking at the Cobra Commander Trunk Ninja on your screen right now. And this kind of shows you just how it doesn't really matter at all which side you choose. Both sides are going to have a mask, okay? Cobra Commander doesn't care which party you choose, all right? Cobra Commander controls everything, and that's what you're seeing. This is MAGA Cobra Commander right here. And it's interesting that that the rally took place. It's interesting that if there's a BLM protest, there's no danger of COVID. and if there is a Trump rally. None of those things cause COVID. It's only going to work in church and the grocery store, right? Here's the article, 22nd of June. Still no COVID-19 cases traced to BLM mass rallies held days ago. Interesting that Nadine says the federal chief medical officer and state ministers say no to positive transmission results from Black Lives Matter protests, while one errant writer calls out the media for not highlighting the fact. So keep in mind what the media is. It has nothing at all to do with anything. It's only going to lead to more Cobra commanders. Some of you guys are on the MAGA side of things, and this might bother you. And good, it should. You are surrounded by Cobra Commander. It's when you empty yourself, you are ready for the mask. You are ready for the procedure. To be completely intimate with my clothes on, I had a conversation with my folks this weekend. My stepdad actually, and he's really looking forward to the vaccine. He lives in Atlanta. He's looking forward to the vaccine. And there are other people that I know. One person that has stopped work, gone home from work, and will not go back to work until they have the vaccine. This is rampant. This is rampant all around us, and it doesn't really matter how effective your resolve is if you were surrounded by a mosh pit of Cobra Commander. I've been in these situations. I used to work festivals, and on the festival circuit, you set up art, and then you wait for the show to finish, and then you break it down. And there were times where Bass Nectar is a performer that goes to these festivals, and this kid named Bass Nectar usually starts his show around 2-3 in the morning, and it creates these sonic hyena zombies that after the show's over, they're still and there's no stopping them. They're still in this pulsating oscillation state. It's a trance state that they enter into. And I think what we forget is that we all pretend that we are immune from trance states, that they would never happen to us, when in fact, guys, everything you do is a trance state. In fact, flow state is your goal. My goal is flow state. When we find flow state, we enter into that pocket of consciousness. So it's not even wrong to say that being in a trance itself is wrong. Nor is it wrong to say being in a cult is wrong. I know that kind of freaks people out. But if you really understand what a tribe is, to tribe up is to cult up. It's to flow state is to find a trance state that feels good to you, right? You leave the illusion of being a noun and you become a verb. These are states of consciousness that we all seek, but so many of us don't know that we wear them like a costume. We apply the procedure to our face, and we are ready for whatever it is it's going to bring. I'm going to say hi to chat, both of them. I'm in YouTube right now, and it looks like everything's working, which is fantastic. I'm glad you guys are still there. And then I see in D Live everything's cooking. In fact, Le Maire de Morph just said, "Hey James, I would like for you to have a lemon," and she gave me a lemon. It's very nice, thank you. I will take that lemon, and I will do things that you do with lemons. You know, it's nothing weird up my sleeve. This is what we do with lemons. Now, the fabric of the universe can sometimes be dry and Medusa-esque, right? We petrify what is the living. We've taken the pantheism idea that everything around you is a spirit, like a bird just zoomed by me, and that bird is a spirit, but also the entire trail of the bird is a spirit. That bird, through its entire migration, if you could trace its line through 3D, it just went by again, 3D space, it would form something larger than a bird. It would be the string of a bird, right? That is its spirit, its essence. And even though it comes through temporally at a certain time that I can see it, technically it's sort of always there. This pantheism shows you how deeply connected you are to the universe, and that makes us nervous. Most of us are here through amnesia. We take the amnesia pill. We are born into amnesia unless we have an Osiris ritual. But we are born into amnesia, so we end up restarting and reconnecting. Excuse me, but this does something important, something that could never be done. If you were always connected, if you were always if you were always immersed completely in the spirit of what's around you, you would not be able to, you would always have this connection, you would always have this deep connection to everything around you. If you come into Dojo Earth and you take the amnesia pill, you've forgotten that connection. It's a very beautiful thing that not all of us can do. Being able to forget that connection allows us to rediscover that connection. I am a part of this hummingbird just as all of you are. The fact that you can see this hummingbird is actually proof that you have a field state with it. You have found congruence with that hummingbird via this live stream. All of us are connected in that way. We just think it's just pure visual. But actually that visual is showing that your field and the hummingbird's field have converged. They've met. The point is that when you enter into this material space and you're able to forget, you forget that everything's connected. And as you slowly start to remember that, some of you get nervous as fuck. You do not like to know you're connected. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We come here to experience shame. If we were always connected, we would never be able to experience shame. We would always feel this vital connection to everything around us. Therefore, we would never feel isolated or broken or not worthy of connection with others. So this amnesia is very, very, very important. And it's why when you see coincidences around you, you will call them coincidences. When you see systems around you that show that there's kismet, that there's something resonating there, believe it or not, it makes you nervous. Even the most cool, open person that's like, yeah, man, the universe is like so connected, they will still freak out when they see that, because it's reminding them of how intimate they've been this whole time here. And knowing that intimacy when you thought you had privacy is actually quite a shock to our aperture, to our system. Consciousness is an aperture. And the reason why you're having problems with your family is because they don't have an aperture that's adjustable. And you do. And you have the advantage over your family because you can adjust your aperture. You can dial it down and see the world through their eyes. And through their eyes, you will understand why they're going to feel better once they get a COVID vaccine. And as I adjust that down to my dad, if I had a low ego, I would use that as an instrument to attack my own credibility. I would say, well, if you had respect for me, you would hear that this, or if you were paying attention to this, or if you were seeing this, and I would begin this onslaught, right, of data and information and exposing this and telling about that, and it would all completely do nothing. All it would do is isolate both of us further. It's only through my compassion that I can dial that down and see, oh, this is where it is, and it has nothing to do with me. I could be as confident and charismatic and life-changing as possible. I could be walking on water and try and tell my dad that. And it doesn't matter because his aperture is going to have to process what I'm saying from a standpoint that allows his aperture to stay comfortable. Otherwise, I end up raping him. There is a consciousness form of rape that we all participate in sometimes. I realize rape sounds like a very dramatic word, but if you really truly understand this aperture stuff, you understand how all of us have chosen these times where we are absolutely insisting that someone dilate themselves and let this idea in. And we don't care how much it burns. And I think that's what so many of us that appeal to this aperture argument have feeling when they write me and they say, this has made it so much better for me. Because you start to understand that the doubting of you, the questioning of you, has nothing to do with you. It's completely about the dilation of their aperture. You're trying to show them a block, and all they can see is the circle that's cropped the block. They cannot see the entire block. And so we run into that. So, instead of trying to sway everyone else, you're going to get much farther simply by being compassionate and by opening your aperture farther, by being proud and recognizing the connections that you see and not wasting any calories on the connections that others are missing. That's the lie we tell ourselves. We lose ourselves in the connections others are missing so we can miss it ourselves, because that timing still makes us nervous. It does. It does. Last Wednesday, June 17th, I believe it was a Wednesday. I know it was June 17th. I streamed Clowns in Space. And I took all the evidence that others before me have exposed regarding satellites, and I added a few little tidbits of my own. And we did this stream called Clowns in Space. And it's the very first stream I've ever had that had more than 10,000 views, which is fantastic. I love that. I mean, since then. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is because the exact same day, while we were streaming this, while this was inside of your psyche, while it was in all of our psyches, while we were talking about this and sharing it, the exact same day, the exact same time, this was happening. A white balloon-like UFO was spotted over northeastern Japan, sparking plenty of buzz on social media. A mysterious white balloon-like identified flying object was spotted in the skies of Japan's northeast city of Sendai in the Miyagi, in the Miyagi Prefecture on Wednesday, prompting some locals to return the mysterious incident to local authorities, to report the incident to local authorities. The object, which revealed a cross-like item hanging beneath, sparked speculation on social media, while some netizens suggested that the UFO was a science experiment, while others assumed it was a weather balloon. Check this out. A representative of the Japan Meteorological Agency's Sendai office in the Miyagi Prefecture told the outlet that the object was not flown by the agency. We checked with the Sendai municipal government and the self-defense forces, but they have no idea either, the officials from the meteorology office said, cited by Komodo News. If you're watching this on a podcast, you're looking at a giant balloon suspending a cross-like structure with solar panels and modules attached to it, and it is a satellite. Again, that story was same day as we were streaming. And I love that kind of kismet. I love those kind of connections. It's beautiful what the truth does. It's beautiful that when it comes out, it's ready. And all it takes is one person to pierce through. And then you have a deluge, right? Everything comes to fruition then. It's fabulous. And that may make you nervous, but at the same time, it also should make you feel invigorated because you're fully connected. You are fully connected. Everything you do here has a witness. And the only reason why you think it doesn't have a witness is because you've fallen for the Medusa materialism. It's the ether around you is a witness. And that might scare some of us, but when you learn to understand the connection that you have, that witness actually serves as an ancestor. It's a very powerful, uplifting thing that's added to you. I'd like to bring in a guest now, believe it or not, if he can hear me. Jim, if you can hear me, I am ready for you, my friend. Jim, if you can hear me, I'm ready for you, my friend. And what we are doing is that my good friend Jim Maiden, some of you guys know Jim Maiden. Some of you known Jim Maiden before I knew Jim Maiden. And that's because he is the co-host of the infamous RX Picture Show. And Jim and I have been staying in touch as much as possible. I wish more. But I'm glad he's here because he wants to give us a report. I would like for you to imagine that Jim is inside a chopper right now. Jim is inside Chopper 4 right now. It's just a very quiet chopper. and he's going to give us a report on the ground in Washington. Hello, Jim. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me, Jim?
Yes, James. How's it going?
It's great. It's great. I heard that you decided that the ejection seats in the helicopter were a bad idea. I just want to say I'm really approve. I think that was good thinking. Well done.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a mistake you don't want to make twice.
Yeah. One time's plenty. Definitely. So, Jim, you had an interesting event. You went down to visit Chaz, correct? Would you like to tell us about it, please?
Sure, yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, I went down there last night. I got in about maybe 7 o'clock, I think, and I think what I was struck by at first was the canvases, the graffiti canvases that were everywhere. It was like every downtown business had its storefront boarded up, and there was intricate and beautiful graffiti art everywhere on every storefront. As I was walking closer and closer to the Chaz area.
Now, actually, before you got there, let's set this up because you were probably a little bit. Well, you were curious, and you had said that the local news. How was the local news painting this? Before you got down there, how was the local news painting this?
Well, I actually didn't see any local news. I went and looked on YouTube and checked out a Fox News report about it. Well, at first I looked. They had like a live feed. It didn't look like much was going on. And then underneath of that was like a Fox News expose, like a sort of a fear tutorial about autonomous zones. So I watched that, and they pretty much were just focusing on sort of the mentally ill people, the people that were the people off to the side, I'm forgetting the word here. Yeah, on the Fox News, they were just showing some mentally ill people kind of shaking around, stains on their clothes, and they were talking about how people had guns and knives and cops weren't coming, and it just kind of sounded like it could have been a scary, dangerous place, like
Right.
your car would get its windows broken into if you left it there, and really, there was no telling what would happen.
Are you suggesting that maybe they might have been like pushing for some sort of national police force or something on Fox News?
They were. Yeah, I could see that.
Right on.
It kind of fit the narrative, as it's just a terrible danger. What are people going to do?
Right.
And it just really wasn't like that when I got down there. It was. During the daytime, it really felt like a festival. There were people walking around, and people were selling stuff. There was all kinds of T-shirts and fundraising stuff, and lots of personal notes written everywhere about personal experiences, and stuff like that. And it felt like really safe and pretty mellow.
No fires.
No fires. There was like people walking around. There was a few people drinking beer and smoking pot, and kind of it kind of looked like all the marginal people went down there. All the homeless people, all the sort of mentally ill people, everybody in the Seattle area that didn't really have any other place to be went down there.
Right.
And so it wasn't. All these other people kind of probably soured the whole thing for the people that were really protesting.
Right. I noticed that I think it was your video. I'm going to pull this up so people can see. I'm talking about your. I've got your Facebook video you posted up now, and it says, "I'm here in Chaz to find out in person how the autonomous hot dogs taste." Did you did you taste a hot dog, Jim?
Oh yeah, it was delicious. It was pretty much the way a regular Polish kielbasa tastes.
Uh huh.
Um,
Well, I
and
gotta
they
ask. I gotta ask. It looks like that there's all these giant concrete blockades have been set up that have been spray painted. Are those concrete?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely they're concrete blockades, and it does beg the question: who set that stuff up, right?
Right. I mean, it's hard to believe that that the homeless guys were like, "Hey, man, we should get some concrete blocks and make this a no drive zone."
Yeah, it was kind of odd. Like I guess when I first kind of rolled into um the the Chaz, or I guess it's Chop now, the Chop Zone.
Right.
Um, I was taking pictures of stuff and videotaping stuff, and there was a sort of a memorial from where the person had been shot a few nights previous.
Right.
And I started to videotape it, and there was a security guard there that said, "Please don't, no pictures. Family doesn't want pictures." And so we were talking to the security guard for a minute, and he was talking about how this guy was shot over here at this spot, the night before, and nobody knew who shot him, or really nobody really had any answers of what happened, but he was shot and killed, and the security guard told me that he was a security guard, the guy that got shot.
Right.
And I was just kind of wondering, I didn't have the presence of mind to ask him at the time, but who was paying for the security guards for this thing? I mean,
Wow. So here's your video of the police department, and it has definitely been turned into an effigy. It says Seattle People's Department, East Precinct, and oh, look at that! You've zoomed right in right when I needed you to. That's great. Seattle People Department, East Precinct. Wow, that's quite a change. So they boarded up everything, and they've kind of moved in on top of it. And of course, this is inside, and they got a big banner: trespassers, something property of the Seattle people. Okay. Yep. Trespassing is now. No, wait. This space is now property of the Seattle people. There we go. Okay. Yep. So it's basically like a festival, right? Like maybe day 4 of a festival. Where things are starting to get a little crispy, but everyone's still kind of hanging tight. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. That's what it was like. It kind of seemed like most of the people that were sort of just tourists had gone home, and it was, I mean, there were a lot of people that were camped out there. There were a lot of tents. There was a lot of.
Wait. Did you say there were a lot? Do you mean it was intense?
It was intense.
Wow.
Yes, it was very intense.
So you were there for what, 3 or 4 hours, right?
Yes.
Did you leave at dark?
Yeah. Well, I think it was we were there for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then we found the porta potties, and they were in the tent village. And I was kind of looking around, and people had set up raised garden beds and all kinds of stuff. Like already, it looked like people had moved in, pretty much. And right at that moment, it was somebody with a megaphone was calling everyone to meet up for another. They were gonna have a march, so we ended up following them, and quite a few people got together and then marched all through town, chanting and Uh, they ended up. I think maybe there was about maybe 90 or 110 people that were very seriously protesting at this point. Not, I mean, they weren't like the people that were running around getting messed up or anything. They were pretty serious protesters. And the whole thing marched all the way down through Seattle and ended up at another police precinct where it didn't look like there was anybody home at the precinct. And it had all these steel sort of barricades, you know, like portable steel fence barricades in front of it. And all the protesters, everybody went up straight up to the stairs to the front door, and they sort of stopped there and had a meeting and talked about stuff and chanted. While that was going on, some other protesters were taking all those barricades and they were barricading off all the streets around the police station. And they were there for a while, and no police came out. I mean, we didn't even see any police cars. You know, the closest thing they had were they had some transit security guards that were kind of driving around and monitoring stuff. And really, what the protesters were trying to do last night, walking around, was they were trying to get the attention of the police and have sort of the police come out and, you know, I don't know, confrontation or just some sort of a reaction. And they ended up taking the group of protesters all the way down to the I-5 freeway, where they went and blocked the freeway, the northbound lane, for a while. And that was in the attempts of getting the police to come and meet up with them and talk to them. And the police didn't come. Apparently, they had been blocking off the freeway the last few nights in the hopes that it would make some noise. And I guess everybody was pretty sad that it wasn't even being reported on the news or anything that what was going on.
Yep. It looks to me like what you're literally describing is a city-sponsored street festival with barricades,
Yeah.
porta-johns, and pulling out of the police department. And they probably consider it. The last thing what you're describing is Black Bart has come to town at high noon, and he's walked up to the sheriff, and and he's outside the sheriff, and he's like, "You coming out, sheriff, or not?" And the sheriff's like, "No, we need that. We need more fires. We need more trouble. We need more of this." Any thoughts on that? Feel free to disagree if you do.
Oh, I think that's definitely true. I think that I think there's an agenda there. I think it's really the militarization of our security, is what it seems like.
Right.
Because, I mean, you defund the police, what are you going to do?
Right.
I mean, somebody gets hurt, I mean, you create a power vacuum, and then you're going to end up having warlords pop in there, or military groups. I kind of talked to a couple people before that protest, before the walking around, and just to kind of get an idea of what it would be like at night there.
Yeah.
And the first guy that I talked to, he said that things change at night. That there's a lot of people that are drinking, and he said that a lot of people are running around, and he said the demons come out at night.
Wow.
And he said that it's like people are possessed, running around, and that it was kind of scary. He had like a sort of a warning about it, and I met him sort of right in front of the the memorial for the person that had been shot a few nights before. And he was kind of giving this warning, and I was listening. And then a few minutes later, I talked to another person, and she was telling me about the shooting the night before. And she said that it was really strange that there was like a battery of fireworks that went off, like across at the other end of the thing. And the shooting happened at the exact same time that these fireworks went off, and people heard the noise, of somebody got shot. They heard the noise of people reporting there was a shooting, and they heard the fireworks going off, and pretty much, she said most of the people in the tent village took off and just ran because they were afraid that there was a shooter somewhere trying to pick people off.
Yeah.
And this girl said that she hid out in her tent because she figured she'd be safe.
Yeah, because tents totally stop bullets. It's like, the first thing you want when you go into a firefight is a tent.
For sure. That's what the Up Armor Humvees with, I hear, these days, is tents.
Please, did you say that someone called the cops on a shooter and the cops hung up on them? Like, is it?
Yeah. After sort of at the end of the night, to the festival, and we'd been walking around and kind of like, watching everything, and then found a restaurant that was open. It was a Mexican restaurant that was serving food right in the middle of it. So it was a great place to stop and have something to eat. And then it was kind of it's getting to be about time to go home. And we're walking back up to the car, and we heard people yelling about, well, we walked right up next to where the memorial was for the person that had been shot.
Right.
And that's where the shooting last night happened, in that exact same spot, pretty much. Right when we were there, we heard like people were yelling, like a scuffle had broken out, and then somebody said, "He's got a gun," and then like some noises, and then we took off and ran over to the car and kind of hid out because it seemed like there was a fight going on. And then I heard some kid came out from pretty much right where the scuffle was. He said, "Somebody got shot." And I was like, "Yeah, that was last night." And he's like, "No, just now. Somebody got shot." And I called the cops and told them that somebody got shot. And they said, "Where are you?" And I said, I'm in Chop." And they hung up on me. That's what he said.
Yeah. Well, so it's definitely a city-sponsored event. I don't think there's any way that anyone could argue that it's not. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and this matches the rest of them too, for sure. Well. Man, thanks a lot, Jim, for that report. I appreciate it. I'm going to sign off now because I have to get this thing plugged in. I'm about to lose battery. This is so funny what's happening. But thank you much for the report, man. And I hope you come back on the web soon. The research you and SB were doing was just always first-rate, top-notch stuff. I know many people miss you, so just wanted to push that little
thank you.
That little thing out while I got you in front of a lot of people. So.
Well, thanks a lot. I know I've really appreciated watching you take off, your live streams take off and everything since I first met you, and you were a few books back.
Yep.
It's
been a ride, right?
It's been a ride, yeah.
All right, great. Well, thanks a lot, Jim. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Be safe
Thanks,
out there
James.
on chapter
Talk to you
4.
Later. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. This is so funny, man. I cannot get this freaking plug in. It's like I'm trying to make the laptop not die, and it's telling me, no, man, even though you plugged it in, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. Anyway, damn it. Atlanta, Seattle, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Dallas. All those are coming. These are state-sponsored events by your government, by our government. That's putting these systems on, and it shouldn't be that hard to figure out exactly what the goal is here. You know, like I said, here's the media. Still no COVID cases traced to BLM mass rallies. And instead of them using that to say it's a hoax, it's going the other way. It's going the other way. Cobra Commander has landed, and it's in both parties. This is not here to scare you. It's here to tell you what you already know. You will have plenty of time to see the danger coming. It will crawl to your door. It will not sneak up on you. You will see it coming for a long time. You will have to tell yourself, yes, I see it coming, but I'm just not that concerned. And that's why it's the best apocalypse ever, because you're finding out that this is a slow consent extraction. And anyone who supports the government down there in Seattle is giving their consent right now. You can see the barricades. You can see all that's happening. But still, the consent floweth, right? It's the demand of milk and consent that keeps flowing out. So, one second. And it's not just government, is it? It's not. I would like someone in D Live to pick a number between 1 and 1,000, a 3-digit number, and type it, please, into D Live. The first one wins. And YouTube chat, I would like for you to do the same thing. Someone type me a 3-digit number, and first one wins. And I'm just going to take the first one I see, and I'm going to show you something. 843 says Amanda Lane. 843. All right. We're going to take 843. I'm going to turn on my browser. And we'll go big. And I hope my battery does. I can't believe it. It's physically plugged in. And it's like, no, you have no battery. The entire thing's going to end because you have no battery, even though you're plugged in all night. And even though you actually are plugged in. What number was that again? 843? Shit. Yeah, 843. Amanda Lane. Watch this. Okay. You guys should see this now. I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in 843 cases. New cases. That's it. All right. And look, the very first result, 843 new coronavirus cases in Florida. Okay. When was that? That was in 4/4. Okay. Iowa adds 843 new COVID cases on May 11th. Okay. Now, that was D Live. Dear YouTube, I've asked you to enter a 3-digit number. I'm going to see, I'm going to scroll up to the top and just kind of see. I'm looking for a 3-digit. Okay, here we go. I'm going to scroll to the top so you guys don't think I'm just making this up. There's a lot of 3-digit numbers. Holy shit, there's a lot of them. 333. Jonathan, I've already got that one. 347, okay? Jonathan, I see you, but you'll see it. 347. Okay, here we go. 347 new cases. Boom. Singapore reports 347 new COVID cases. All right, that was June 13th, guys. Egypt reports 347 new corona cases. May 13th, guys. Are you watching me? You guys watching what I'm doing? I'm not making that up. This is not a trick. This is not a trick. We'll do the Tesla. 369 new cases. Iowa, 2 days ago, 369 new cases. All right? Guys, this is a Google for the words a number And new cases. I think my laptop's about to die. This is amazing that the fucking plug-in will not work. Sorry, guys. I need to cuss. But damn it. It works so hard to set this stuff. It's plugged in. It's plugged in. Come on, man. Plugged in. I'm going to plug it in there. Give me some power. Don't go. Don't go. People are watching. Oh, there goes the laptop. There goes the laptop. It's going. It's going. It's going. I think I lost the stream. I don't know why. Just want to show everyone. Here's how you plug in a laptop. It's plugged in. Damn it, this was a good stream. I was getting ready to show you some stuff. We'll see if it lasts. Fuck. Look on the screen. 123 new cases. I already did a search for that. There it is. 321 cases. There it is. Italy, Riverside. 888 new cases. Alabama. 333 new cases. Wisconsin reports 303 new cases, June 11th. 234 new cases. Bashir reports 234 new cases. 222 new cases. Oklahoma reports 222 no COVID cases on June 12th. 752 new cases. Virginia sees 752 new COVID cases on May 18th. 555 new cases. Virginia sees 505 new corona cases 3 days ago. 420 new cases. Coronavirus in South Carolina and Ohio both report new cases. 999 new cases. Coronavirus in Michigan, 999 new cases. Is anyone seeing a pattern here? Before this thing, even though it's plugged in, does anyone see a pattern here? Does anyone see what I'm describing to you? This is the best apocalypse ever. They are showing you every single piece that you need to understand what's happening, my friends. Every single piece of evidence around you is unfolding. No one's hiding anything from you. No one's trying to trick you. All the truth is right there. I encourage each of you, please enter a 3-digit number in Google with the word with a space and then new cases, and just prove it to yourself. This is not a trick. This is not a magic trick that I'm pulling off. This is how you lie. But this is how you lie and expose yourself at the same time. There's more to this than you think. There's so much more to this than you think, guys. All right? If they wanted you in chains, you'd be in chains. If they wanted you euthanized right now, you'd be dead. This is something else. There's something about this matrix of our world. And what I see happening is someone squeezing the bottom of the tube. And when it's squeezing that tube, you and I are coming out conscious. We are emitting from the spout conscious. And others are like, I don't want to leave the tube. I never want to leave the tube. I don't care how much you squeeze. I want to stay. And those precious few that stay, they will herald the tube for eternity. They will worship the tube. They will worship being inside the toothpaste tube and never leaving. And as it rolls themselves up into a tiny Torah, they will embrace this. The 144,000 could very easily be the people that no matter what government does to them, they simply want more. Those people are real. There is a level that you reach when your ego drops so low that you turn into a Renfield and you start to do things to other people. And if you do too many things to other people, you are not able to come back from that compassion. You're not able to return. And those people will always want government. They will always want more cases. They will always want Cobra Commander. And you do not consent by understanding them. But when you apply your compassion to their aperture, you finally see who they truly are. And by truly seeing who they are, you understand you have to let go. You clinging to them is you hiding the truth from yourself. You are self-soothing by pretending that the answer to your life is to make them see something that they don't want to see. That's not how this works. All right? Focus on yourself. Focus on your own aperture. Focus. Oh God, it just worked. Thank goodness. Focus on things that you can change around you. Because the cities are gone. And right now it's day 4 of the festival. Day 4, everyone kind of walks around looking like me, but all the time. But they're looking for the clean porta potties, and they're not finding them. And they're starting to get a little antsy. Imagine never being able to leave. See, they brought in the entertainment. The entertainment was closing the police department. That's your band. The main headliner was we closed the police department. The security at the festival, those are the concrete blocks. Basically saying there's no way we're ever going to bring a cop car through here. It's not going to happen. You can have this. This is what's called Shakedown Street. Those of you who are old enough to remember that term, Shakedown Street, it's a term. It's a festival term. A festival has its own economy and its own zeitgeist that pops up in a certain location. And that location is Shakedown Street. And you will go there and you will barter for grilled cheese sandwiches because it's 4 a.m. and you didn't bring any food. And the next thing you know, you don't even realize that the guy that's serving you up the grilled cheese, it says all good grilled cheese, used that knife to scrape the bottom of his feet the day before. That's what's going to happen in the cities. And you want to talk about a vaccine. The amount of antibodies, the amount of T cells and B cells that are going to be generated from these people trying to survive inside these cities is going to be a new cure. A stronger, more resilient immune system will emerge from there because it has no choice. You will either emerge or you will dive deeper into the tube and say, please don't let me go. Please, government, don't let me go. And government does what it's supposed to do. It's here to help those who cannot help themselves. It's here to appeal to those who cannot appeal to themselves. And that's why there's so many cases. That's why no matter what numbers you enter, you're going to find 347 new cases, 791 new cases, 123 new cases. I encourage anyone, if you think I'm wrong, please correct me in chat right now and say, no, that's not the case at all. Assuming we're still connected. Oh yeah, Harim just gave me a lemon. Thank you. Assuming that we're still... Thank you for the $50 super chat, Joshua. Get a new laptop. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, this is how Babylon retreats itself. And if you feel cheated by any of this, if you're butthurt over the stories of David and Goliath, you might be cheated by all this. You might think, but government's failed us. But government actually hasn't failed anyone here. What government did is give people what they wanted. It's like cops. Cops aren't there for public safety. Cops are there for order. It's 2 totally different jobs. Cops aren't here to make your life better. Babylon isn't here to make your life better. No, Babylon's here to extract your consent. Babylon's here to create a subscription service between you and it. And you will subscribe to Babylon for literally everything. Diapers, baby formula, education, defense, police, news, entertainment, parking, church, all of it. All of it. Babylon is here to extract your consent. It's never been here to force you. It's never been here to torture you. It's never been here to hunt you down. That's why these truth channels won't have me on anymore, because I'm not playing that game of, yes, they're secretly here to hunt us down. They're secretly here. No, they're not. They don't have to hunt you down. If they wanted to hunt you down, you'd be dead. No, they're here to pop up a food court. in whatever genre they find, they're here to pop up the food court. And who is they? It's the evacuated people. The ones that are evacuated enough where they don't give a shit. They don't care what they do with their life every day. They've been told pride's a bad word. They've been told that ego is a bad word. They've been told that there's no such thing as self-fullness. There is only selfishness. So they evacuated themselves a long time ago. And when you evacuate yourself, you can say, let's put up porta potties and bring in some concrete blocks and create a festival of violence in our city. That requires an evacuated person to do that. It doesn't require a master plan. It doesn't. I know that we can look at BLM and see it as a nationalist movement. Of course it is. But those are evacuated people running that system. BLM is a white fetish for black people. And it's very easy. The reason why that the movement, the white fetish for black people movement, the reason why that's popular is not because anyone's cramming it down your throat. It's because a food court has opened up in the Shame and Virtue Mall of America. And there are wandering penguin people wandering through there going, I feel shame. I feel shame. And someone goes, I can satisfy your craving for shame, and I will call you a racist. That sounds good. Yeah. And then while you're there, you'll notice, hey, can you call me toxic masculine too? It's like, yes. Yes, we have Biggie fries here. We can give you all those orders. We think the food court came, and then people came and said, well, I don't really like shame, but maybe I'll try it. No. Stop assigning evil. Stop pretending evil is a human being. Evil is the antithesis of a human being. Did you ever read Scott Peck's The People of the Lie? Truly stunning book. Eye-opening because it shows you the truth of what evil is. One of the stories in Scott Peck's The People of the Lie is a couple that was in for therapy, and the therapist had started out treating the son. The son was deep depression, massive suicide attempt, like multiple suicide attempts, really messed up kid. I'm going to guess he's 15, 16, I really can't remember. And he was in the therapist session, and this therapist kept interviewing him, and he finally decided, I need to interview the parents, something most therapists don't do. And so we interviewed the parents. And he said, I'd like for you to tell me about the gun. The gun that you gave your son that he tried to kill himself with. And the dad and the mom answered very plainly, oh, well that gun belonged to his older brother. And we thought that he would want it. And the therapist clarified, do you mean the older brother that shot himself? And the parents go, yeah, that older brother. And these parents are not maniacal. These parents are not like, we're going to make our child extra creepy. We're going to give him the very gun that his older brother used to kill himself and call it a gift. If you understand what Scott Peck understood, because Scott Peck had compassion for his aperture, because he wanted to understand what evil is, the people of the lie, he showed you what it was. This couple weren't there. They were simply empty. They had no empathy that they could extend to their son to say, hey, would it freak you out if I gave you your older brother's gun? The one that he used to kill himself? Would that freak you out? They had no prana to extend from themselves and place in their child to empathize with and go, how would that feel? Evil is an emptiness. It's an evacuation. It's the missing of humanity. It's why I try and explain it as evil is a wood chipper left on in a playground with children and no supervision. Evil is not the man who brought the wood chipper and is maniacally hiding behind the tree, watching it happen. That kind of evil is Hollywood evil. It accounts for 0.0000001% of evil that you will see. And that's the evil people will watch because it doesn't scare them. It thrills them. It thrills them because it makes them feel better because they understand that I have nothing to do with evil, or so they think. They're able to compare themselves to the person that would hide behind the tree who set up the wood chipper at the playground and just grabble his hands together. If you understand that that's evil, you never, ever, ever see evil. You would never look in the mirror and think that you were capable of evil because you would never do that. Yet those same people will put a wood chipper in their own backyard and turn it on. No, not a real wood chipper, but they do the exact same thing. Evil doesn't need intent. If it had intent, it's passion. And passion is not evil. Passion requires compassion. Passion requires essence and prana. You take that passion and extend it. You take your own passion, your own ego, and extend it through calm. You compassion. We've got evil all wrong, and that's why we're so fucking evil. Because we've allowed Hollywood to tell us, no, this is what evil is. As long as you don't see this, you're good. Because you will always see a rape van that says free candy. It will always have a horrible paint job. It will always have rust. It will always be missing hubcaps. And if you don't see that, you're fine. If you don't see that, you are perfectly safe. And it's bullshit to say, well, that's because they lied to us. No. We choose what information we ingest. You could have listened to Fox News report on Chaz and Chop, or you could have listened to Jim Maiden, who was there. I'm to the point where it doesn't matter to me which one you listen to, because I've already had enough conversations with my dad where I've tried as hard as I can to explain what COVID is. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have the aperture for it. Same as my friend who is an administrator at Wake Med Hospital. It's so disappointing in him to watch him ignore all this data, to listen to him call all these other doctors, Duke trained, MIT trained doctors. He calls fortune tellers because they're not giving him his aperture. That's evil. That's the part that's evil. It's when we evacuate ourselves because we can't handle it, because we're not comfortable with it. Because I don't have the staff to man this wood chipper 24/7. And I don't want to turn off the wood chipper. So I'm just going to leave it. That's the evil. It's a lack of calories. It's always a lack of calories, guys. Evil used to mean feeble. Evil used to mean the one who was not capable of taking care of himself. Good was just strong. And by being strong, you're naturally going to be more generous. It's just true. But no, James, because of warlords and because of this, because of all the Hollywood bullshit, you're like, no, it doesn't work that way. Because the bad guy always comes in and rapes someone. That's how it happens. It has to be that way. It's like when you go buy Army Men at the toy store. You get a complete set. You're like, I want a complete set of Army Men. And you get 120 and you dump them all out and you separate them by machine gun, machete, tank battalion, infantry, light infantry, heavy infantry, paratrooper. You spread them all out and you realize, where are the fucking bankers? Why does not one army set have bankers in it? There's not one plastic fat ass banker. It's because that would make you uncomfortable. Because the banker owns your house. The banker dictates when you get up in the morning and where you go. The cubicle of Babylon is a mouth. And every day we agree to go lay in that mouth for 8 hours and pretend like we're alive. And just like a gazelle, when it knows it's been caught, it releases a little bit of dopamine going, just let it go, man. The lion's got you. And the lion's way over there. You're stuck in the sticker bush, but you're like, no, it's just not worth it. The lion's got me. It's just easier here. Why? Because you love the fix. Slavery is a fix. It's a dopamine fetish fix. That's why we're so freaked out about it. That's why we throw such a hissy fit about it. Oh my God, anyone's a slave. We got to take them down. We got to take them down, right? We got to. It's like all these statues I keep telling you about. I'm not saying the statue itself matters, but guys, BLM has had a hit list of statues that they've wanted taken down for a long time. On 619, this Metro article, you guys can see that? This announced which statues. There's 60 of them here. The racist statues and memorials campaigners want to see toppled. And here's the whole list. I'm not even going to read them. There's too many. There's too many of them. And you can make a suggestion for more. And what happened over the weekend? Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant. Unbelievable that we took his statue down. Was that the only one? No. No, Teddy Roosevelt has to go. Here's Teddy Roosevelt on a statue with a Native American and a black guy next to him, and that statue has to go. It has to go, and they're erasing your history in real time. They're erasing your history so they can replace it, because if they erase your history, you have no root. They cut your root out. And by cutting your root out, you learn to function without it. You learn to not even know it's there. You never miss it because it's been shamed. That's why the Confederacy is so shamed. The most deadly thing that could ever have happened in America is the Confederacy could have lived, could have survived. Why? It was a bunch of states, right? A bunch of states believing in autonomy. We can't have that, so we didn't. Why? Because most states were like, a lot of our people are too afraid of being in charge of their own sovereignty. They would prefer a system where you have the king's bird and no one can shoot it. The more we understand that what slavery is, the less prone we are to these kind of virtue attacks. All right? Slavery's existed since Rome. The word Slav literally comes from white guys that have been enslaved. The Irish were enslaved in America. The Germans were enslaved in America. The blacks, not all of them were even brought here to be enslaved. What's hugely amazing is that no one's done the math and go, how did 3 million blacks get here in slave ships? Like, how the fuck does that happen? And the answer is it didn't. It didn't happen. Because Columbus didn't discover America, he erased it. And the Civil War had nothing at all to do with slavery. Waiting for the garbage guy. He's late today. It's okay though. He probably was worried about the COVID. We have to hold on to our history. It doesn't have to be a statue. But guys, the things I know about the Civil War, I'm literally a fucking torch carrier. I'm an Endowan, a literal torch carrier for the Civil War. My childhood friends, kids that I grew up with, are now the mayor of Chattanooga, and he's destroying the last Confederate cemetery because of his fetish for slavery. Fetish on both sides. Guys, people who don't want to be slaves are the exact same as people people who want to be slaves are the same as people who want to be masters. It's the exact same fetish. It's just on different sides. It's just on different alternatives of the seesaw. It's the same thing. You guys have a great week. Go watch Owen. I hopefully he's going to show you what he just texted me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the Chaz Chop story. And thank you for the patience with this dual live stream. It looks like this is working. Obviously, I'm still learning this thing, but it looks like both streams are still going, which is great. I missed some more super chats. Let me just quickly say, Biddy Mick, thanks for explaining the conflict between family when we have different apertures. You're welcome. I can't, guys. You're gonna have to let him go. I'm not saying that that's nice, but it's the opposite of nice. It's just think about it. Think about it from the aperture standpoint. By the way, I got a mosquito bit me like right inside the. It's like so annoying. I just want to point that out. That's why I keep scratching my nose. It's very, very annoying. You guys keep crushing. Have a great Monday. Check out that interview if you can with Owen and Ben. And we'll see you guys tomorrow and the rest of the week. It'll be a fun time, I think. So thanks for joining me. I'll get over here to hit stop stream. There's so many windows.